Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're gonna go through what I'm farming right now for the hunt buff, and that is Caides. I've never actually farmed Caides, ever, really. You know, like I've tried making teams, but nothing really worked, and I wasn't really happy with it, and like it wasn't consistent, it wasn't fast, it wasn't anything, right? And it was just super annoying. So instead, I decided to do this sort of team here, which is both kind of fast, but also insanely stable. And also, you generally don't really need to use anybody outside of how they were already geared, right? The fourth slot right now is super flexible, and same with Isaria's slot. So the key is generally just Rowana and SSB. You can build them just like you would normally build them, as long as Rowana has a good amount of bulk. SSB, all she really needs is the effectiveness to help land defense break in targets, and damage if you want damage. It just, like, you're not really gonna die, but the faster you kill it, the better, obviously, right? So we also use Isaria here for defense break and target as well, and consistency, because she has that skill too that makes it so she cannot really get targeted by the boss. You want the boss attacking SSB and Rowana, and we can see we have their skills off for this. Another person you can use instead of the Luluka is Surmia, or any DPS really that has a skill 2 that is a non-attack skill, so they're not being hit, right? I really like Luluka here because, one, she's super fun. Two, she can just go ham every now and then, right? Like, she can just go insane with her skill 1. You get a dual attack and stuff like that, and it's just bonkers. Some other options for Isaria, basically anyone, again, with defense break with a non-attack skill. Maybe regular Luluka here. You could have the double Luluka team, because Isaria's skill 2 doesn't really do much here. All it does is reset her stacks, right? I'm not sure how long that was, but like a 2-minute run or something like that. My recording timer's at 2 minutes and 19 seconds, so I guess we'll see. Let's just do a couple more to show you how it works, and then we'll talk about the team and the stat requirements too. I don't really see a replacement for Rowana, unfortunately. That's what makes this so stable. And in times where you don't land defense break is where Rowana saves you, right? Like, you don't really need her for runs like I just did, but if you miss defense break a bunch of times, which is really hard considering we have like 3 sources of defense break, so we're getting basically like 1 to 2 chances of defense break every rotation. And we have Luluka on counter as well. Let me have a drink of coffee, because that's destroyed me. Ah, what's in my throat? Ah, beautiful, beautiful coffee. So what were we talking about again? Yeah, so as you can see here, 0 debuff. So this is pretty much the worst situation, right? We didn't land target, we didn't land defense break, we didn't land anything. We can see the lack of damage, and it is doubled, right? Because we're also losing the damage from Caladra with the Luluka, and we're also losing the damage from Rage Set. So we basically like get 20% of the damage we would otherwise, but it still doesn't matter because of just how consistent this is. I also thought about putting SSB on a counter set just to, you know, get those counters in when she gets attacked, but that was probably just overkill. And look at the damage there from the 2 attacks. It's just insane. And I do want to emphasize, you don't need as good of gear as I have on my Luluka, because you're not in any rush to kill this, right? Like, obviously, the better gear you have, you're gonna be killing it faster, but you're not really in danger, right? Like, there's no point where you're in trouble. Yeah, so you can see when we get attacked, we heal up, basically. Okay, let's go take a look at our stats now. And yeah, so I've been really enjoying this. This is fast enough for me to not hate myself doing this run, you know? And I think penetration set is just so insane for so many different places, especially if you're a whale. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but penetration is exceptionally good on those units that that have the crit rate imprint. So somebody like Rylet, who has the imprint for 17% crit or 15% crit or something like that. It's so good on somebody like that because it's so much easier to cap your crit rate with that. And somebody like Violet as well, regular Violet, insanely good on him, but you don't have the imprint to save you. Actually, I have no imprints on Violet, which is really sad. They're all in Rylet. But yeah, being able to use penetration on somebody like this is just insane. So let's go through the people. First one is the Rowana. My Rowana is on counter. It's not necessary from what I've seen. You know, it doesn't really do much. I just threw her on counter because that was the set I had. And she's just bulk. The entire purpose of her is just to not die. And you can probably do this with a faster Rowana, with a slower Rowana, with a less bulky Rowana. Just use her however you would normally use her. Just throw her in your usual gear and see if it works. I also have mine on Midnight Bloom, just because my set right now on my Luluka isn't high enough crit rate. So I decided to throw this on instead. Instead, if you don't want to do that, or if you actually have crit rate on your unit, you could throw stuff in like, I don't know, maybe Idol's Cheer, maybe Celestine, maybe Water's Origin, maybe any sort of artifact. It really just doesn't matter is what I'm trying to get at here. Then let's look at the important ones first. So let's look at the SSB as well. Mine is on Bloodstone. That I found to be very important. It does help keep everybody stable. I also have mine on a semi DPS set here. I say semi DPS, but she's got 3,800 attack and 350 crit damage. But that doesn't really matter too much. I don't know if the speed really even matters. It just happens to be what I was sitting at. Tons of attack, tons of crit rate, tons of crit damage, 65% effectiveness, or also known as 69% nice. And yeah, that's about it. You can build her tanky, you can build her DPS, you can build her fast, you can build her slow. Does not matter. What matters is skill 1 targets, her effectiveness, and skill 2 defense break, and just consistency with Bloodstone and stuff like that. Does not matter at all how you build her. It'll just like speed up or slow down your run slightly, right? We then have the Iseria, who again can be a bunch of different units. We have mine on speed Unity because, you know, why not Unity? Getting a dual attack here with somebody fun just seems cool. I have her on Miss Confit. You can also use the target artifact. You can use basically anything, right? Doesn't matter too much. This is just an additional layer of defense break that can land that will speed up your run. 3,100 attack. I tried to go like a mix of but a mix of like speed, DPS, effectiveness, and all the things, but I also didn't want to take away gear off a bunch of my like important units, so I just kind of gave her this. I will be toning down this gear after free equipment removal as well, because it's just not necessary. The only one that really matters is the Luluka, of course. And again, you can use Surmia or something instead. That's probably what most people are going to be using. I'm not sure which is better, but yeah. So we have Luluka, 4,500 attack, 311 crit damage. We do have her on Caladra and a pen set. So I have 2 pieces of penetration here, Giggity, and yeah, and rage as well. So this is how she is. And again, we have 82% crit chance. So that's why we ended up using the Midnight Bloom on our Rowana. And yeah, so she just does insane amounts of damage, and she's one of my favorite units in the game, and it just makes me happy being able to use her in a hunt. So I'm not really sure what else to say for this. I hope I covered all the things. What I can say is there's no speed requirements. You don't have to be a certain speed. You don't have to have like a certain amount of anything outside of effectiveness. You don't have to do anything special to get a run like this going stable and semi-fast. All you need to do is have the units in place, and it kind of falls in for you without any sort of weird requirements. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.